welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. So first, this video is about martial arts. There will be no martial art demonstration with this video because I will try to do a demonstration between tomorrow and Sunday, depending on the weather, for those who are watching. So a friend of mine on Instagram, let me see if I can pull this person's name up. I can tell you in a New York minute. I can tell you in a couple of New York minutes. Let's see. Okay, if I can get the dumbass thing to work here. Okay, so, friend of mine on Instagram, Echo, that's all you're going to get from me, asked me about doing a Wing Chun demonstration. Now, as I told Echo, I'm going to tell you guys. The problem with doing a straight Wing Chun demonstration for me is that it's not impossible, it's just highly improbable because of what this video contains. So, depending on how long you've been training in martial arts and how many variations of martial arts you've done, I can't speak for everyone else, but I can speak for me. My body has a second nature or a muscle memory problem. The problem is that my body remembers what works and forgets what doesn't. Alright? So if I'm doing Wing Chun and we're doing push hands, I can do that. But you can't really do it by yourself. Or trapping hands. You know, boom, boom, boom. It's sideways and one's at the top. Alright? So you have trapping hands this way and you have trapping hands that way for Wing Chun. Alright? So you do have trapping hands. By yourself, it looks really stupid. So, you know. Because you start down here sometimes and then you go up. So you can start up and then go down. But for Wing Chun, trapping hands by yourself looks like I'm a fucked up ass robot. Alright? There's no one here. Trapping hands does not work with Ghostman training either. And Ghostman training is also a part of Wing Chun as well as Wushu because it helps you imagine you're fighting people. Also, when I was taking karate, I learned Ghostman, not when I was taking Kung Fu. Just to put that out there. The difference between karate and Kung Fu is like not so much night and day as people may think it is. So a lot of karate, you know, it's always boom boom or it's boom boom, where a lot of Kung Fu is boom boom, and as you notice my hand was open, block, counter, it closes on impact. But by the time you remember to strike and close your fists, you've probably been hit at least once. So if you just keep your fist closed and learn, simply simplify, you know. So if I block it and I strike it, it's a lot easier than if I block it and I strike it, unless I plan on blocking it and breaking it. So block, break, strike, Kung Fu. Block, strike, karate. Alright? Same thing with knees. If I'm going to block and strike and then throw a knee, this would be karate. Versus if I block, break, strike, pull into the knee that's closest, that would be Kung Fu. Alright? Small difference. Also, depending on who teaches you what, you will, whatever you use in a fight, whatever works for your body will retain that quicker than anything else. I know this personally because every time I picked up a lightsaber, my lightsaber Sifu knows this as well as anybody else. Whatever he taught me, if I don't get a rehashing that day, I won't remember it. I will catch up. If we're doing it that day in class, I will be able to catch up. It just takes me like a good 5 to 10 minutes to remember. I may have to watch like 7 or 8 times so that my brain can cut back on. Now, second nature, on the other hand, for actual combat, works on a totally different level. So if you haven't been in any fights, and I don't mean like UFC fights, I mean like street fights. Second nature works better in street fights than it does in the dojo. Because in the dojo, you have rules, and you have a certain amount of training that you are supposed to do versus that amount of training that you are not allowed to do. There are more things you are not allowed to do than there are more things that you are allowed to do. Like excessive force while training is not really a good thing because you're hurting your training partner, which is not something that you want to do because then you won't have a training partner. Okay? And if your training partner gets pissed and they know that they're better than you, they may hurt you. So everything works on a scale of stuff. So hold on a second. Yeah, I'm in the middle of filming right now.
I know you.
So yeah,
I
see,
don't know.
yeah, I'm hanging in there. I have to get back with you when I'm done. So sorry about this. Can't be rude to your friends. So he's gonna be on Facebook whether he likes it or not. Now, the thing about second nature, you'll see me in a lot of these videos do some shit that goes boom, 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 and you'll see me do it from both sides because my body remembers that move perfectly. Soom, soom, soom. These are blocks and strikes for Kung Fu and Kempo. But the reason why it's more Kung Fu than Kempo because if I'm doing snake or crane, these moves are there. They are also there for trapping hands. Now, alright? And if you see I swayed into a front low bow stance versus a forward approaching bow stance. Alright? Now these damn names are all the same because you have your front back bow, you have your front strong bow with your hip in the back. Alright? Now the thing is that that's the same shit in karate. You know, the names may be different, but it's the exact same shit. Alright? Now second nature. So if I'm fighting Wing Chun and I'm doing American Southpaw stance, which is the Wing Chun correct stance, because your striking hand is your closest hand. You know, so you're gonna block their punch. So you have two block options with Wing Chun. That's why you're like this. You know, so when they throw a punch, you can bat it and strike, or you can bat it and strike. Now I know you're gonna say, but that looks like karate. Yes, karate does that same shit. Like I said, the difference between karate and Kung Fu is so minute. It's also how you use it. Karate is more about power, where Kung Fu is more about directness. Now, Kung Fu was made for smaller chaps like me, from like 5'5" to 5'2" to 4'11". We're more the Kung Fu style because most of the Kung Fu that involves aerial stuff, it's better for littler people. Plus, it's more close combat. If you know somebody who does Wing Chun, they'll tell you Wing Chun is really close combat because you have low kicks, like right at the shin, boom, and then you have that. And Wing Chun can also blend in with Kung Fu and Wushu. So it's a lot easier to transition. So say I do a Kung Fu kick or a Wushu kick. So there's still low kicks, but they basically are Wing Chun. So low kick, and then I transfer up. So let's go from Wing Chun to straight Kung Fu. It's the exact same move in Wing Chun that leads to trapping hands. Alright? So it is easy for me to forget what style I'm supposed to be doing at that time because when I train, I don't focus on just doing Wing Chun or Wushu or Kung Fu. Everything that I learn, I put into my training. So if I throw an elbow for Kempo or Taekwondo or Muay Thai, you know, it's still in there. Wing Chun also has elbows because you can do trapping hands and throw an elbow. Alright? I didn't know that, but old school Wing Chun does have trapping hands, elbow. And why do you think they have elbow blocks in those old Kung Fu movies? Because they're having Wing Chun and Kung Fu elbow blocks. You know, and karate teaches you that back step block that I hate so much, where you step back and you block. You know, it's like boom, switch, boom. You know, I hate that block. I don't use that block because I hate it. Because it doesn't feel natural anymore because I'm used to this. And when I switched from karate to Kung Fu, I'm used to this. You know, but when a real fight's going to happen, I'm not standing like that. I'm standing like this in the standard fighting stance, left foot forward, left hand forward. So tag toom, tag boom. You know, because the second I break into this or the crane, I'm going to get read by my opponent. So let's say I go southpaw. Boom, boom, boom. You know, you have to be well-rounded. Well, the more well-rounded you get in martial arts, the more your body adapts to what feels comfortable and what actually works. Now, in the streets, it's not a controlled environment. So, you know, anything and everything can be used as a weapon. And that includes that. Need more room. Also need the real thick, actually iron ring to actually pull it off. because it looks really fracked up with a hula hoop. But the hula hoop's still effective because, hit to the gut, flip over, pull. So boom, boom, and pull. And closest knee, or power knee, you're going to do that. Understand how that works. Yes, I just hit myself in the mouth. So basically the strike will be boom, boom, boom. So that's boom, boom, pull. And when you pull them, you're going to bring a knee. You want to bring the direct knee for Kung Fu, the power knee for Karate. So knowing when to use what is the difference maker. Sometimes the direct knee is too close and can defect the move. But the power knee can just finish it and get it over with. But if it doesn't, you have an elbow, or you have a fist, or an elbow and then a fist. You have lots of combinations. Your body will remember the things that work best, and you will do those by accident before you do what you're telling yourself to do. Because sometimes your body and your mind aren't on the same page. And when your life is in danger, you will find out how quickly your plan goes when you have to fight somebody. So if you're doing the snake or the crane, I did that backwards by the way, the snake, mouth open, the crane, your body will remember what does work. So for the crane and for the snake. Now also the snake can change into fangs when you attack, but so can the crane. It just depends on who's teaching you what and how quick you're going to adapt to use something against someone. Same thing with tiger, which can switch to dragon, which comes back here. So your body will remember these moves for the rest of your life. Now, a lot of the things you will forget, and a lot of Wing Chun that's not direct strikes or grapples or trapping hands, you will tend to forget that shit because when you're in combat, you're not going to be looking at your hands or your feet. You're going to be looking at that guy in front of you and you're going to be praying that your connections mop this guy up really, really quickly. So there you have it, man. When you're doing martial arts, muscle memory becomes a problem as well as a thing. When it becomes a problem is when you're doing a martial art demonstration and you're only supposed to do Wing Chun. Which is why when you see me doing martial arts, if I'm not in this stance, I've pretty much forgotten what the fuck Wing Chun was. Same thing with Kung Fu and Wushu. If I'm not in my southpaw stance, I'm going to wind up doing something totally different. If I'm in my southpaw stance, I'm still going to wind up doing something totally different. Because I know how my body's going to react when I start training. Which you'll learn. So from here, if I start going into a Jenga, if I start going into the Drunken Master Sway, I just threw Wing Chun way out the window. But you can also use Drunken Master in Wing Chun for trapping hands. So it really just depends. And Drunken Master, by the way, is more or less, it's a combo of every kind of style. The only thing that makes it special is the sway and the fact that you must emulate a drunken crane, a drunken snake, a drunken tiger, a drunken dragon, a drunken mantis. So if you can emulate being drunk and remember your mantis technique, you have drunken mantis. So that's pretty much how that works. Anything else I'll have to demonstrate, and there's no woman here to demonstrate. So thank you guys for watching. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2, B, C, and U.